Thanks, Tanim. I appreciate it. I appreciate everything. I'm just saying I appreciate it so much. Whew. Whoa, that's right. This is a really cool area. We came here, right, to talk to Graven Ash, and it took us forever to get through his camp last time, I think. We finally made it, though. Was there anything else? Oh, and thanks for the follow as well, Parsnip. I didn't see that until just now. Right. Yeah, yes. We climbed through this whole damn camp. It took us forever. Thanks mainly to a bunch of what do you want to call them? Oh god, tangents. There we go. That I went off on. But anyway, I think we're ready to talk to Graven Ash. Let me just check the old journal here. Wait. Graven Ash wants to kill Stratus Harridan and end the magical storms. Travel to Sentinel Stand to see if Kairos' winds have abated enough to allow entry. Did we talk to him already? I honestly don't remember that. Right. In the Blade Grave. Okay. That's for Barrick. Cato Village. To confront Mouth Breather Nefcio before he escapes. That sounds like a time-sensitive one. And then the Spires. Did I talk to him already? I don't remember doing that. But maybe. I spoke to him so long I blocked out the painful memory. Yeah. I think you're right. Well, let's just see. Let's just see if I did or not. I honestly don't remember. Do you guys remember? Fatebinder, it's good of you to report in. These days, it is difficult enough to judge friend from foe. I'm pleased to recognize you as the former of the two. So you brought the... Oh, I haven't talked to him yet, because this didn't happen. I see you brought the voices of Nerat's spying whore to my doorstep. You talking about verse? I'll have nothing bad said of verse. Lest you think me amused by your irresponsible conduct, know that I am not. Versus, maybe I did have this conversation. Useful ally, I need her on my side. Loyalty with Verse. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. At least until we get tired of each other, says Verse. Don't worry, old man. I'm not going to drive a blade into your spine. Not while you're wearing a breastplate as thick as the old walls, anyway. Graven Ash glares at Verse and returns his severe expression back to you. His mouth is set to a disapproving line, and he seems on the brink of saying more, but waves off the matter. After what transpired at Vendrian's Well, he says, the disfavored must hold fast to our allies. You are here because of your support at the siege, but I don't mistake your confidence for devotion. The Scarlet Chorus would not have you. He's talking to Verse, or is he talking to me? I'm going to say Tunan is my master, and he stands above your petty squabbles. Yeah, let's give him a little attitude. If he stood above them, says Graven Ash, then he could see well enough how the voices of Nerat has conspired against our forces since the beginning. No, for all his claims of objectivity, I have my suspicions that your adjudicator is as compromised by this war as any of us. I guess I did talk to him. I don't freaking know. Farewell. Alright. Yeah, I talked to the dude. I totally forgot. These reports list all known Scarlet Chorus outposts and strongholds as well as troop compositions. It's safe to assume... Jesus, that's so fast. Safe to assume that Graven Ash has his own eyes and ears within the ranks of his enemies. Does a little spying of his own, does he? Okay, well, I'm pretty sure we saved Graven Ash for last. Deny Kairos' peace. They are fools. Wow, you can go through here? Can't get up there, though. Which means that I thought that they were all standing guard like we wouldn't be able to get through them. Sorry, your Fatebinder has forgotten how to get out of here. could rest. In fact, let's do that. I don't know if I did it on the way in or not. I don't think I need to, because none of us are injured, but makes a little bit of role-playing sense, I suppose. Don't have Vendrian Swell anymore. It's too bad. I know I talked to these guys. Don't mind my prisoner. I know I talked to... who is it? Akalos. Just gotta remind myself what I said to him. Dealt with that troublesome lieutenant yet? No, I think he's the one sending me to Cato Falls? Whatever the hell it's called. Gosh, this is what happens when you don't stream for 7 days. You can't remember what the hell is being said. How do I get out of here? This way. Not that. Not that. That. Sentinel Stand. I think this one seems the most critical. Before he escapes, we're going to Cato Village first, I think. Which is... we're right here. It's... oh, man, it's so close. Cato Village is way the fuck over here. Alright, let's go. 2 days, 19 hours, 45 minutes. That stinks. Okay. I mean, maybe I don't have to go there direct, but it feels like this is a time-sensitive one. Again, I can't see where the hell I am. Don't like that. Just an aquamarine sitting there. Most of Cato's settlers fled as Chorus forces approached. This home, like most others, has been abandoned. Kaipera. Mouth breather Nefcio. Kaipera says, "Throw down your weapons, mouth breather Nefcio, and I give you my word that you and your men will be brought back to Ash unharmed." Mouth breather Nefcio says, "Only to face hard labor or the executioner's axe. Would Ash just forget about the caravans we hijacked? You think you can just sweep that under the rug?" Kaipera softens her tone, but you can detect an undercurrent of something dangerous. "I don't deny that you will answer to Graven Ash. His word is law, and you will find yourselves subject to his mercy." Lieutenant barks a fatalistic laugh. "Ha ha 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 ha! I'm already familiar with Ash's mercy. He doesn't tolerate the Scarlet Chorus, no matter if we had a decorated career. I could earn my name 10 times over under the voices of Nerat, and it wouldn't matter in Graven Ash's estimate. As far as he's concerned, we're just brigands and pirates, and he grudges us for fighting in his war." First says, this one has a fair point. Graven Ash never wanted the Scarlet Chorus to join the invasion, and only ever saw us as an obstruction. Makes you wonder how he would have fared on his own. I wager the disfavored would have fought themselves into extinction. Barrick says, or into a better organized conquest, free of the division or disagreement. Conjecture is pointless. We will never know. I don't know that the disfavored could have done it alone. I hate the voices of Nerat, but I don't really hate the Scarlet Chorus. So yeah, the Scarlet Chorus were critical. Loyalty with verse. She says, "I'm glad that someone thinks so. A girl can't help but feel that the Scarlet Chorus don't get their due." She nods to the argument. This is about to get interesting. Kaipera says, "Debate all you want. You have nowhere to go. Drop your weapons or die here where you stand." Mouth breather Nefcio says, "Sucks to your options. I have a better idea." His whistle pierces the silence. Get her, boys! Okay, we've sided with Kuipera, apparently. Siren begins singing Blood Brings the Dawn. She activates Defensive Cry. Huh.
I am a shield wall to myself.
Siren, why are you getting way up front like that? Okay. You do that. Barrick's mixing it up. That's good to see. Let's do that. Cast a fireball. No, we don't want to hit Barrick. Cast a fireball at that jerk there. And...
Take me if you can.
You'll have.
Somebody died. Yes? Yeah, that guy died. Okay. Barrick, why don't you... Blade Grave's Grasp. Powerful attack that traps nearby enemies in twisted spires of rock, petrifying them for a short time. Iron Storm. Nah, that's no good. Better for groups of people. Another one dead? Yeah, that one's dead. Wow, okay, that was fast. First, why don't you come beat up this person with Barrick. Violin, take aim at that person. And Siren, you just do what you're doing. Everybody, gang up. 36. Wow. We'll stay vigilant out here, Fatebinder. He shouldn't have anywhere else to run. Wait, did he get away? I didn't notice. Did he actually get away? That'd suck. What does it say? Follow Mouthbreezer Nefcio into the settler's home. Okay. Retreated. So, she's going to stay out here, and we're going to make sure that if we do flush him out, she'll kill him. That's my understanding here. On the subject of the spires, from Fatebinder, my office. Do not favor 1. Dear Violin the Fourth, based on what you've told me, it seems a stretch to believe these events are some mere coincidence or circumstance. Kairos' Edict of Execution was a setup for someone to claim Ascension Hall. To think that Kairos did not know what would happen is a massive underestimation of the Overlord's long view. You have been thrust into the arena of the mighty. Your options are retreat into obscurity, suicide, or rising to the occasion. I suggest the third option. If I were you, I would use my connection to the spires to see if they will all awaken to my presence. Every tiersman sees the spires in the horizon. If they know you are the master of the spires, they will see you each time they look to the sunrise or sunset. Foster a reputation for power, make others fear you. This is what I've seen Kairos and every living Archon do for as long as I've lived, and there's reasons for this. There are reasons for this. There's the practical case that power and a reputation insulate you from threats, but there's the lesser-known element that I can't prove, but I know in my heart to be true. The fear and love of others will strengthen your magic. This last part I've inferred from my discussions with Bledden Mark. In the few times he has spoken of his gruesome work of slaying those who might rise to threaten the Overlord, he has hinted that it's easier to kill the rogue elements before they become famed and fearsome. In my lifetime, I saw Graven Ash change from an unknown militiaman to a fearsome general, and I can assure you he did not have the power to shield his warriors in those days, when he was without title or reputation. The Archons will never ever discuss the origin of their power, because such knowledge might be used against them. But I have known all the Archons to be obsessed with the presentation of power. Your connection to the Spires will all but guarantee the Archons will want to control and destroy you. It's a question of when, not if. Start thinking and acting like an Archon. As far as I'm concerned, you are an Archon, the Archon of the Spires. We are quick to place labels on powers we easily spot, and history is replete with the Archons of fire and ice. It is foolish to think that there must be a word for a thing before an Archon can control it. Other way around, the Archons show us what is possible, and we must step to their dance. Myothis. Okay. Ask about that. Curious to learn more about the Archons and how they've risen to power. Dear Myothis, I appreciate the insight and am honored by your vote of confidence. Your missive made mention of Graven Ash and how you've known of him since before he wore the title Archon of War. Can you tell me more of what you observed of his rise to power? If I am indeed an Archon, it's safe to say I wasn't born knowing what I can or can't do, and it stands to reason I might learn something from the stories of the other Archons. Violin the Fourth. 1 day remaining. Okay. Let's go get this bastard. I presume he's inside. There we go. That's the save button. Let's just check everything outside here first. Heavy cloth sandals. Swig of insight. Defense against spells. Okay, here we go. All right. Mouth Breather, a Bloodhound, Scarlet Fury, and a Blood Chanter. Oh boy. Curses. No way out. Hey, you. I'm assuming from that look on your face, you're not here to help me escape. He eyes you with suspicion. Sure we can come to a mutually beneficial arrangement. Ah, that would be the diplomatic thing to say, wouldn't it? He pauses with a look of bewilderment. He says, I've never known of one of Graven Ash's lackeys to be so practical. I don't mean that as an insult. It's actually quite refreshing. What did you have in mind? The wisdom of centuries. I don't know that he's going to tell me anything about the Spires, but I'm after knowledge right now. And you think there's a tome of secrets bundled in my knapsack? I don't know what you were expecting, but prepare to be disappointed. Die, you motherless onion! I suppose the rings would have perhaps been more persuasive for him. Motherless onion? Oh, that was good. Alright. Siren activates defensive cry, singing Blood Brings the Dawn. Raises movement speed of nearby allies, deals fire damage to nearby enemies, causes bleeding to nearby enemies. Okay. Let's just do this. This is our macro every time a fight starts.
I'm not here to make friends.
Okay. Where are you, Verse? Who's newest to you? Yeah, that guy. Barrack, why don't you do that?
You got it.
You're afraid of death, worm.
Okay, hang on. Okay, the middle guy's down. That's good. Barrack, attack her or him or whoever that is. Verse. Ooh, that looked nasty.
Smashed to pieces.
Okay, Verse is a little bit fucked up, but that's okay. Oops. Take one of those. Barrack, charge this motherfucker. Actually, here, just do that to him. That'll take violin as well. False pit, maybe? He knows I have layers. Ah, ha, 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 ha. Of course. Of course.
None stand in our way.
Barrack leveled.
On your knees, woman.
Alright, there we go. Okay, hang on, we'll level here in a second. Nicely done, everyone. That went well. I feel like Siren makes us considerably more powerful with her chanting. Rather impressed. Blood Chanter's Staff. It's not better than what she's using. We'll take it.
Nothing I can't handle.
I knew it. Oh, right. Level. Eric. More vitality, more might. More finesse, maybe? Let's go with might. And, let's see. Sound of War. Clash of Iron bolsters the strength of his nearby allies, granting them a bonus to armor. Take reduced damage. Defense benefits from shields. I like this one. Well, breaking the wall would be tempting too. I can't take that till I spend another point here. Let's do this one, and then next time we'll take Breaking the Wall, I think. Return to Akalos at Iron Hearth. You've dealt with the troublemaker, mouth breather Nefsio. Return to Akalos and tell him you've completed the task. Alright. Let's see if we can't say anything to Kai... whatever her name is. This lady. Kaipera. I could hear the squeals from out here. I owe you my thanks, Fatebinder. Very well. Let's be on our way then. Well, the next place that we would go was going to be Sentinel Stand anyway, so we might as well hit Iron Hearth on the way back. Uh-oh. Encounter in Lethian's Crossing. The path ahead winds through a patch of twisted oaks. Dry foliage crunches underfoot, and the hymns of insects score the day and night alike. The mingled scents of dill, wheat, and algae sour the air. Barely audible over the crunching of tree litter, you hear, a cracking sound like a tightening rope. As the leaf-carpeted soil begins to shift around your feet. Stand your ground or leap for safety. Leap for safety! It sounds like a snare. 66th Athletics Experience. Like a storm of whips, a half-dozen green tendrils erupt from the ground. They lash wildly at the air, and the two nearest manage to slap against your thighs and calves, biting through your exposed flesh with fang-like thorns. Oh my god. You pull your limbs free and roll away from the thrashing vines. Identify the attacker, search for weakness, leave the plant. Identify the attacker. You've heard of these plants, the Spinahedra. Spinahedera. A rare creeping ivy that spreads from a central flowering stalk. The Spinahedera use their prehensile vines to trap prey, puncture their skin, and wring from them their blood. Enough damage to the central stalk will kill the plant and neutralize the threat of its vines. Slowly building heaviness in your limbs and blurriness to your vision reminds you that these plants also inject a powerful numbing agent into their victims. Uh-oh. Attack the central stalk! Parties received alchemy supplies placed in stash. Your assault on the heart of the plant earns you a few more welts from the slashing thorns, but you manage to split the stalk down its center. A vicious sap oozes from the twitching creature, and a tangy copper scent lurks in the air. The spasming vines thrash their last and then go limp. You collect some of the sap and shavings from the vines. Certain such things can be of use in an apothecary. With sensation slowly returning to your limbs, you continue towards your destination. Lacerations. Exhaustion. Alright, so we'll just rest then when we get to Graven Ash's camp. Dang, okay. I like the little random interactions, which I assume aren't that random, but... they're neat. Oh, missives. Okay, so my response was, tell me more about Graven Ash. Myothis says, this is the sort of question that can get you killed. Very little is known about how Archons are born or come to power, and my long life has taught me that Kairos and the Archons prefer it this way. If the young and talented remain forever in the dark, the old and mighty can rule without challenge. I heard of Ash. He will always be merely Ash to me, before Kairos renamed him and gave his legion that backhanded title, as a rebel, a grimy, illiterate partisan who was winning battles while his countrymen of the Northern Kingdom lost left and right. Ash was always a good leader, but he wasn't born able to mystically reach out and protect his soldiers. The earliest mention of it isn't even until the tail end of the Northern Conquest, and if you read the journals, they don't tell stories of grievous harm warded off by Ash's stern looks. Instead, they talk of his soldiers finding their fears and doubts lifted from them by Ash's presence. Careful reading suggests the ability to actively protect physical harm came years later, as that bond grew, and more importantly, as his legend grew. That legend is the key detail. In my understanding, an Archon's power is something of a self-fulfilling prophecy. The widespread perception of an Archon's power is the very thing that strengthens an Archon's power. Okay? So in Ash's case, he had some early inkling of a power, the ability to assuage the burdens of his men, and as he took on a mantle of power and became known all around Tyrannus as the next Archon of War, it soon became the ability to bear the physical burdens of his men, not just their fears and doubts. Thus, my advice to you is to act like an Archon. Take power where you can find it. Foster fear, foster love. Never walk through life anonymously, but rather live in the thoughts of your followers and the anxieties of your enemies. Okay, Bladen Mark's killings, then. Dear Myothis, your wisdom on the matter is greatly appreciated. You made mention of Bladen Mark and his killings. During my training, Fatebinder Callio hinted that much of Bladen Mark's work involves killing off threats before they blossom into genuine problems, so it's curious to hear you second that fact. So, let's say for the sake of argument, I am some Archon. Is it just a matter of time until Bladen Mark is sent to kill me? Should I be making grand displays of loyalty to the court to assuage his suspicions? Okay, we gotta find Akalos. I think that's the person I was talking to about that mission. Otherwise, we'll rest here. In fact, maybe I should do that now before I wander off and forget. This should take care of the injuries, right? And the exhaustion. Perfect. Greetings! Have you dealt with that troublesome lieutenant yet? Yes, I've rid you of the troublesome lieutenant. 1,700 rings. Hey, Mafala, how are you? Welcome to the stream. Glad to see you here. Indeed you have, says Akalos, and well done. One less reason for me to look over my shoulder. Here you go, fair payment for a job well done. He passes you a loop of rings. I am good. It's good to see you too, thank you. Yeah, I'm on the verge of a 4-day weekend. I'm off Friday and Monday, so I am very much enjoying myself this evening. Having some bourbon, streaming a little bit later than usual. I mean, not currently, but we will be. We ended up doing Neverwinter Nights for about 2 hours, and we'll probably do Tyranny for about 2 as well. A loop of rings. Good. Is this all? Let's not... Well, wait a minute. My office's advice was live large no matter what the circumstances so that everybody takes notice of you. So, hey, how about some more money? Wrath with the disfavored. 9 subterfuge skill. Are you an assassin or a sworn servant of the court? Don't answer that. If you're confused about the difference, then I don't want to hear about it. Take your blood money. Tosses you a few more rings. Pleasure doing business with you. Farewell. All right. Whoa, shit. What was that? Just a quest being complete? Yes, it would seem so. Sentinel stand keep. Blade graves. Sentinel stand outskirts. Okay, so Sentinel stand keep and Sentinel stand outskirts are our next stops. And we know that they're both in the exact same direction. They're the only new locations to check out, so there's nothing else to really do right now. It is. This is the benefit of working part-time. When you're only working 3 days 1 week and 2 days the next, and your employer lets you set it up so that you... that was a little weird. Oh. I see. You can just use these instead of using the keys or... Okay. Yeah, when your employer lets you set it up so that you work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday 1 week, and Tuesday, Thursday the next week, you get 4-day weekends all the time. It's pretty nice. Telling you, man, if the government would just subsidize my lifestyle so I could work part-time all the time, I would totally do it. Uh-oh. Ambush! Your journey is interrupted by the feral howls of a hunting pack of beastmen. Their leader is an impressive specimen, her mane black as night, and her body scarred from battle. Oh boy. I had a 3-day weekend last weekend. I've had a 4-day weekend the weekend before that. So yeah, I'm living large, man. This is the dream. What? How did we end up in this dead end? Okay. Kills in shadow. Before you towers a massive creature of fur and flesh, her short black snout snuffling in the air.
Know this scent. Stench of blood, sweat, battle, iron and death. Stench of human called Fatebinder. Smells like alpha. Smells of strength.
Yeah, that's right. It's because I don't wear deodorant. Beast woman cocks her head to one side, eyes bright with curiosity and red as fresh blood. Those eyes rove your body up and down. Ooh. Darkening with a sudden heat. Ooh. With the look that a predator bestows its prey.
Know this scent. Remember whiff from river. Hell tang rot from water turned bitter. And pack died. Sick and mewling. Weak.
Conquest decision. When a wild, roaming pack of beasts slaughtered a disfavored patrol during the conquest of Azure, you took vengeance for the Legion by poisoning the pack's known watering hole. Oh, shit. This was her family or something. Her muscles ripple and flex as she rises up, keenly aware and ready to strike. I feel like the diplomatic thing would ask if it's not too late to apologize. But then I feel like she's recognizing strength. So maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should just come right out and say, yep, that's what I did, so fuck you.
Fatebinder likes hunting beast women. Likes threat of dying instead of ripped apart by rending teeth with killing claws. Only dumb predator or best predator hunts
South Central,
back a strong alpha. Kills in shadow wonders. Is Fatebinder best predator?
Her red eyes linger for a moment on your weapon. You glimpse the cunning of a seasoned killer behind those eyes when they flick back to your face.
Maybe Fatebinder wants to find out.
Seems like a dominance display. I could say, no, I'm not here to fight you, but I feel like it's not going to matter. We're going to have a fight regardless, I think. Idaho needs a large file. Yeah, it needs to grind this down a little bit. Let's just fight her. See how strong of an alpha you really are.
Am strong. Will lash twist hair and mangle. Will taste blood in mouth. Will kill human called Fate Binder.
My name's Violin, thank you. Uh-oh. Whoa, wait a minute, what the hell? She got a first swing in there, huh? Beastman deactivates charge, serum, okay. Ah, shit. Alright. What are they doing? Activates charge, deactivates charge. Why does it say activates and then deactivates? I don't get that. Set her on fire, verse.
Your death waits!
Makes
Critically hits, kills in shadow. Nice job, verse. Verse is awesome.
You got it.
felt nothing. Swallowed by shadows.
I think I killed her. For some reason I was thinking this was going to be like a, oh yeah, I kill her, or I fight her, prove my worth, and then she stops. But apparently I'm just killing her ass. Whoa! Verse is doing the awesome thing. Yeah. Oh. She's not dead. Oh, okay. Battered and bloodied, the beast woman drops to all fours. She crouches low, belly rubbing the dirt as she ducks her head in a show of submission. Yield or die. You were saying, I believe you were going to mangle me, correct?
Yield, yield, yield! Kills and shadow yields to Fate Binder.
Must be from the Shadow Hunter tribe. I don't know how I know this, but my lore skill apparently is high enough, so sure.
Fate Binder knows tribes of beast women. Curious human.
I'm a little bit into beast women, I guess.
Of Alpha and those of Shadow Hunter tribe. Best tribe. Lost tribe of kills and shadow.
Her eyes pin you with lust. Ooh. Ah. Whew. It's hot in here. The look of a wolf that's found a hare. Oh, alright, that's less sexy, I guess. Why have you tracked me down? Why get in my way?
No human called Fate Binder. Kairos breeds words on paper. Fate Binder binds words to earth and sky. Makes ground tremble. Makes night cry. Blood and fire.
Why would you know of Tunan's fate binders?
Human is not first Fate Binder. Kills in shadow has hunted.
She chuffs, darkly amused.
Tribes of Kairos fear Fate Binder. Human Alpha claimed Horizon Rock called Spire, and Archons did not kill Fate Binder. Archons rolled over and wide, covetous.
Covetous is a pretty advanced word for a beast person. What's your point, beast woman?
Kairos hunts human realms to extinction. Rules tribe of blood and ruin, starvation and death. Seeks to slaughter beast women like prey. But beast women are not prey. Are not flighty, feeble-minded humans.
She talks like a Klingon woman. She talks like, what were the name of the sisters? The Duras sisters in Next Generation? I can't remember their first names, but that's what they talk like. That's what she talks like. Kills in shadow, spits a gob of tawny mucus on the ground.
Beast women are savage hunters, bred to fight, kill, rot. Fatefinder who smells of alpha.
Fight, kill, rut. That's the Beast Woman equivalent of the Eat, Pray, Love book. That's good.
Strong always kill weak, then grow weak. Nor killed is migration of life. What kills in shadow is not weak now. Will not be weak for many long seasons. Will join Fatefinder and survive Kairos' tribe.
You'd side with the enemy to survive?
Enemy? No enemy. Only competition. Only strong tribes and weak tribes. Only win or die. Adapt to survive.
Well, there's only one condition under which you can join me. I remain the Alpha.
Kills in shadow is not beta. But even alphas submit to stronger-willed primas.
Primas.
Can't make a tribe. Is this not a thought humans also understand? Beast Woman will follow Fatebinder. Will not dominate.
Primas are the leader of a beast tribe. Supremacy almost always held by a female. This rank is won and defended through vicious bloodshed and fights for dominance rather than birthright. Many alphas may exist within a single tribe, but only one can rise above the others as prima. Prima donna. Is that what you're calling me?
Unless Fatebinder begins to smell weak.
She tongues one of her upper fangs, lips split in a feral grin. Okay, I mean, I kicked her ass once. I can take her again. Sure. The Beast Woman huffs and turns to address her pack.
Kills in shadow will not shelter stone whelps anymore. Scamper, run, flee! Do not want to see shadows lurking, stalking behind. Barb cleft his leader now.
The pack hesitates, causing Kills and Shadows to emit a low, menacing growl. I like that she constantly just lists off 3 words in quick succession.
Will not like if Kills in shadow catches sight or scent of stone mongrels again.
Stone mongrels. Bloop. Tyranny says achievement unlocked via Galaxy. Magnetic personality. Recruit every companion character in the game. Oh. Hey, that is one fine looking lady. Well, I feel like she's going to take the Barrack position, right? I like Barrack. I want to keep him around, but let's
Be seeing you, Fatebinder.
just see what happens when we have Kills and Shadow in the party. I found the entire cast. The original cast. She's apparently level 6. Hang on a second. I forget how we set up party. Yeah, there we go. Formation. Okay. Level. Okay, slightly different from Barrack's build. Now see, that portrait looks exactly how I imagined based on the voice. Versus Siren or Ebb or even Lantry, I guess. The other sort of tank, the game I mentioned a few streams ago. Okay. Okay. 5 points. Holy shit. Okay. How about 2 there, 1 there, 1 there. Oh shit. Actually, hang on. We need more accuracy. Five points. Ravager and Titan. Frightening targets. Attack twice. Unarmed damage. Speaking of, what's her... She can't use any weapons or armor. She can only wear accessories. So she may be a beast, but she's still a woman. She still wants to look good. Just be a woman. That's all you got to do. Strike forcefully with a weapon. Oh. She can use weapons? Wait a minute. Attacks from stealth cause targets to bleed and grant kills and shadow a heal over time. Effect that lasts until combat ends. One-handed melee weapon damage. She uses two-handed weapons as one-handed, so she can use... What? I have the Jester, Abomination, Grave Robber, and Arbalist. I wish. Kill for a Grave Robber in this game. That'd be awesome. This is interesting. It looks like this end is more about making her a... Oh. Presumably she cannot use this. She can't use weapons until I unlock this. If I unlocked this, presumably she would be able to. Let's just see. I have to save it. I just want to see. I don't want to have to save it. So part of me that's just thinking, let her just do unarmed damage. Just fuck shit up as a crazy beast. She's an abomination. That's what she is. Yeah. Abomination. Jester. Arbalist. Oh, Grave Robber and Arbalist. Hey! Yeah, you're right. You're right. Barrack would be what? The Crusader or the Man-at-Arms? Probably. Man-at-Arms, I would... maybe Crusader. Though he uses he's using one-handed weapons, so maybe he's the Man-at-Arms. Lantry would be more of the... What? Vestal? He's not quite an occultist. I think Ebb would be closer to the occultist, probably. The antiquarian or something. I'm thinking I'm just going to use Ravager for her. What the hell? Let's do it. This is going to be cool. Or maybe. It'll be interesting anyway. Roars the targets in a cone, frightening them. If this ability is used from stealth, foes will be terrified instead. Let's do that. This will be interesting. Okay, so quick items. We're going to have to set you up here, girl. Just be a woman. That's all you got to do. Hang on. Split that, please. Oh, she can use weapons. She can't use armor. Okay, no, I didn't notice this before. I'm sorry. The weapon sets were always properly there. Alright. Let's just see how this goes. How do I get out of here? I can't see. There we go. Okay, anyway, we've been interrupted twice now. Continuing on. Description of kills in Shadow. Yes, thank you. Your party is in need of a high-damage tank or an assassin. You enjoy dialogue with someone who's single-minded in their lust for combat and vengeance. You want to learn more about what it means to be an oppressed species in the tiers. Take with you if. All
Been
right.
a while since I last came to Stalwart. All that disfavored fighting led to this.
No, I think you're right. If I had to guess, that would be Grave Robber, Hellion, Vestal, and a third thing that I cannot think of at the moment. I'm sure the Darkest Dungeon wiki would tell us. Ah, okay, Q and E zoom. Got it. Antiquarian? Maybe. Hi Max, I didn't realize you were still here. I was thinking, I thought that you left, but I guess that was Publican that left. Ah! Missive! Another one. On the subject of the spires. My dear Fatebinder, it's a poorly kept secret that Bladenmark's job is more about killing threats before they become a problem. Official executions are really the minority of his duties. As I understand it, Kairos has long used Bladenmark as a preventative measure. Since he can move about the world rather freely, and he can evade all but the most absurd powers, he's the perfect predator to send against wild talents. I'm sure few in the I'm sure. I sounded all Scandinavian there. Much love, man. Appreciate it. I'm sure few in the tiers have ever actively wondered. There's my voice there for a second. I'm sure few in the tiers have ever actively wondered why there have been seemingly so few Archons born this far west. I'm sure folks with the potential to be Archons have occurred in the tiers time and time again, but they're usually cut down by Mark before the world hears of them. It's likely safe to assume Bladenmark has his eye on you and has orders to use his own judgment as to when to strike. I've known the old man for ages, and I'd strongly encourage you not to try to appeal to him with overt displays of loyalty. He has no stomach for sycophants. I sincerely believe he thinks every human being is a selfish, twisted knave. And there are those who are lying about it, and those that accept what they are. No third type exists. So yes, I do think Bladenmark will one day have to come for you. As I said, you could always hide or end your life now, but where you're headed, you won't need roads. Conflict is likely inevitable. Myothis. Tell me about Kairos' wrath. Kairos' wrath. There we go. Dear Myothis, thank you for weighing in on all of this. To ask perhaps too obvious a question, if I am such an anomaly, such a threat, why hasn't the Overlord dealt with me right away? An edict or just a simple request to Bladenmark would be no small threat. Neither seems to have happened just yet. What is your take on this? Why hasn't Kairos dealt with me? Violin the Fourth. Send it. The moat that once encircled Sentinel Stand has long since succumbed to the harsh environment. Standing water, damn it. Standing water and patches of moist dirt are all that remain. And here's the bloke named Radovek. Cloth hat. She can't wear it. This actually, I think, would... Less armor. Better deflection, better accuracy, better recovery. I think I'm going to put that on. Give me a moment. Looks a little bit less ridiculous, I think, than the helmet. The helmets just look so big. Don't they? Look at that. Like, she just looks crazy with that helmet on. I'm going to tell her to hide the helmet, because that mohawk is awesome. He has boobs. I mean, that makes sense. Okay. Radovac, what's the story here, man? Who are you? What's going on? The scout straightens as you approach, squinting through the harsh wind. Are you the support that Ash sent out? Probably not Matt. Yes, I'm Tunon's Fatebinder. Glad to hear it, he says. You can never be too careful out here. I'm half blind from this storm. And you agents of the court don't always stand out, no offense. We've been patrolling the outer walls, but there's no sign of the enemy. Either they know not to come here, or they're better at hiding than I credited. Damn rebels shift about like the winds, they do. Unbroken Legion was the proud and accomplished army of the realm of Stalwart. Citing their victories as evidence of skill, they prided themselves on never facing defeat. Sorry, everyone, I had to yawn there briefly. Playing some Cataclysm. I am afraid I'm completely unfamiliar with that, Max. After the Edict of Storms tore apart Stalwart, they twisted into the Blade Grave, barely a 20th of the Unbroken's former strength. Survived to continue the war. I don't know why I'd be asking that. Let's ask if we can enter the fortress. These winds? I wouldn't venture to try if I had 1,000 shields to guard me. Too many damn zombies in every game. That's the truth. Come, take a look, and you'll understand. See ya! Hey, gang, I hate to do this in the middle of a game, but my eye, I don't know if you've noticed, I keep wiping at my right eye. It's constantly watering. I think I'm having an allergic reaction to something. I've had hay fever here for the last month or two. Just seasonal allergies, which I never used to have when I was younger, and now as I get older, I'm having it more and more every spring and early summer, which is very aggravating. Yeah, I'll agree with that, Walter. If you see a trend, you need to copy that trend and put it in your game in triplicate. Yep. Zombies. Insect bad guys. The other positive thing I'll say for Diablo 2's zombie bad guys is when you killed them, they went, oh, which is a very satisfying sound. And they'd fall down in half, like the torso and the legs would fall down separately. That was pretty satisfying. Versus like zombies being like right in your face, like trying to claw your eyes out and shit. Just having them like walk up to you going, and then fall over. Much more satisfying. Anyway, I'm saying all this shit about the allergies because I'm complaining about getting old. Fucking sucks. And also because I think I'm gonna run upstairs and grab an allergy pill really quick. Yeah, no, I get it, Tandem, I know, but still, it's an interruption I would rather not have to deal with. Two things I've hated about, my least two favorite things about getting older, which is not to say that I'm old, but I am getting older, is increased allergies for some reason, and increased dry skin. I get dry skin now more than I ever used to, which is a real irritation as well. All things to look forward to as you guys continue to mature, age like a fine wine. So if you guys will give me a second, I will be right back. I'm just going to... Whoops. I think I just turned on stealth there. I didn't mean to do that. I'm going to turn on my away screen. I'll be back in about a minute and a half. I would also turn on some tunes for you guys, but I'm afraid YouTube would give me flack for it. So stand by. Okay, you guys, hang on. I got something super cute to show you. Let me just get rid of the away screen. Look at this. Look at this. He's the cutest. This is Cooper. He's one of our 6 kittens. He's kind of freaking out, so I'll just hold him right like this. He's the cutest. He's got 5 brothers. No. 4 brothers and 1 sister. And they're all upstairs. We've got 6 kittens in our house. And the mom as well. I didn't want to bring all 6 down because that would just be madness. But this guy, he's the explorer cat. Of all of his siblings, he's the one who does the most exploring. Okay, I'm going to take him back upstairs. I'll be right back. Got it? Mm-hmm. Need any help?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Okay, I lied. I brought another kitten down. This is Olive. She's the one girl in the litter. And she's super cute. Kitten cam, I know. Look how tiny. Okay, she's using her claws, so she's kind of freaked out. I'm going to take her upstairs. Hang on, little girl. Hang on. They are all so freaking cute. It's crazy. Yeah, if I had an easily mobile camera setup, I would totally take them around and show you guys all the kittens. I've got videos on my phone of all the kittens doing their kitten stuff, but Discord doesn't upload videos very well. File size limitations are too small. So anyway, the only thing I was going to say is their mom is really, really sweet. She's a very, very friendly cat. And the only problem right now is that she was stray, obviously, when she got pregnant. And so the vet has had her on deworming medicine, which makes her pass gas on like a every 20-minute basis, and it is the stinkiest smell. It's so potent. Whew. It's like eye-watering. Like it could make wallpaper peel off the walls. It's bad. But she's just so darn sweet. Anyway, it's supposed to go away in a couple days or a week or whatever when the medicine all wears off. But yeah, in the meantime, yikes. Okay, so we'll run after Radican or whatever the hell his name was here in a second. I just want to...
We'll stay out of sight.
Oh, that's right. We stealthed ourselves. How did I do that? Alt. Oh, hello. Sentinel Stand was once a proud, imposing structure. Now it stands as a mere shadow of its former glory. Jasper. Oh, Jasper would be a good name for a kitten. I'll have to upload some videos to Discord. Not videos. Pictures to Discord with all the kittens' names on them. My two sons, each named 3 kittens, all on their own. So we have a Cooper, a Mario, a Olive, a Rusty, a Spots, and a Sandy. And then the mom's name is Asuka. She was named before we got her. Alright, Radovac, what's the story here? Okay. Just going in. Kills in shadow, pants, rough, mauve tongue, lolling between her fangs. Have seen bigger storms, but have not felt sharper wind. No one throws a tantrum like the Overlord, says Siren. In spite of her remarks, Siren wears a look of grim introspection. So this is Kairos' storm, huh? Verse holds her ground, the storm whipping through her hair, which probably looks fucking awesome. I wonder if I could ride that storm. What do you say we find a barrel, seal it up with me inside, and see what happens out there? Well, later she sighs. Maybe not. What the hell are you talking about? That sounds insane. What are you going to do inside of a barrel inside of a windstorm? You step forward, but the wind repels you like a physical wall of force around the tornado's edge. The area ahead is impassable. Fear with kills in shadow. Alpha would let wind slice body to pieces? She snarls as if threatened by the storm itself. Is dangerous. Paw on path with greater care for pack. You catch an odd sound in the wind. A low moan. Ooh. A low moan hidden within a cacophony of swirling dirt and metal debris. Clouds of dust seem to close in upon you. Within them you see patches of glowing red. Holy living fuck. Radican, what the hell is this shit? Radovac, whatever. Scourge. Wisp. Scourge. Wisp. Wisp. What are these, storm monsters? What the shit is going on here? Hang on a second, I just realized I forgot to set something up. When I came back... There we go, that's better. Sorry, gang. It's this whole setup I've got going on is less than ideal, but I make it work. What the fuck can these guys do? I wish I could hover over these emblems down at the bottom. I can't, though. Leaving death requires stealth. Ah, rats. Okay, she's doing her thing. It's Siren. Do you think Kills in Shadow can actually cast any magical spells? That's lore skill 19, so almost certainly not. We're in combat. Okay, so we can't check it. Damn it. Alright, fine. Not having Barrack is going to be a bit of a bummer. The Bane! These are the monsters from inside the walls! Ah, okay. Oh, I like this song.
Not a problem, boss.
Ooh, I like that team up. That was good. Kill one? I think we killed one. Oh, no. It looks like Radovac is hurt? No, he's okay. We killed that one. The Scourge or whatever it was. Okay. Got that Scourge as well? I don't know if that, I think that was a Wisp, maybe. I don't remember. Okay, violin and verse are going to blood-soaked stone this motherfucker right here. You keep doing what you're doing. You can attack this thing. Nice. Alright, everybody. Let's just finish this thing off then. Heal itself for 50? Is that what just happened then? Immune to mage fire? Oh, I guess it's a fire elemental type thing. No remains, huh? The Bane are gone, their unnatural cries silenced, leaving only the tornado's violence in your ears. As the dust clouds recede, you spot a crouched figure on the wall above.
Look there, Fatebinder. Atop the wall. Someone
See ya,
takes note of
Radivek.
our passing.
They do. Where? Oh, Janos. Alright, hang on. It's almost like the edict attracted them here. Damn creepers. Is Kairos sending the Bane? Is he attracting the Bane here so that they will try to kill me? An unbroken scout observed your fight with the Bane. Speak with him. Janos. A soldier kneels behind the ruined parapets. You can tell by his raiment, old stalwart gear, that he is an unbroken soldier. He appears at you with a mixture of caution and curiosity. You handle the Bane well enough, he says, but what brings you to this forsaken place? He pauses as recognition dawns in his eyes. You don't look like the typical rank and file of Kairos' army, but you're no daughter of stalwart either. He squints at your raiment and takes your measure. No, you're the Fatebinder who broke past the Vendrian Guard. I think you'll find yonder wind wall a tougher nut to crack than the Apex Citadel. He chuckles. And the Edict of Storms kills straight... my business is my own. I'm not volunteering anything to this guy. Made the title theme song of Tyranny my ringtone. Whoa! Hey, I like it. I gotta remember what it sounds like when you open up the menu. It's kind of a horn fanfare type song, right? My business is my own. Good, says Janos. I don't concern myself over the affairs of Kairos' grunts, though I'd be surprised if you accomplished anything in the Blade Grave. These storms make it impossible to draw a clean breath, much less think straight. I suggest you make like a storm and blow, because you're not getting inside this fortress. When you report back to your master, tell him that First Scout Janos sent you off with your tail tucked between your cheeks. Ah, yeah. I remembered, Tanim. I remembered. Perseverance opened the Sunset Spire. I'll crack Stalwart's little windfall. Why do the Unbroken hate Stratus Harridan? Regents. Graven Ash's daughter Amelia. Edict of Storms. Bane. Let's ask about the Bane first. Don't you know anything? The Bane are drawn to Kairos' magic like flies around a corpse. This whole region is polluted with the Overlord's reek. Nowhere more so than the wind wall before us. Mind yourself around their claws, Fatebinder. It's said that once the Bane have you in their clutches, they never let go. Edict of Storms? The storm will continue for as long as Stratus Harridan lives. I wager that we're both keen on stopping the old coward's heart, though I'll do everything in my power to make sure that you never get any closer to Sentinel Stand than this. What if I... Oops! I'm a step closer. And another. Are you going to do something about it, or you just stare at me from your little nest up there? Says Verse. She's the best. You've gained loyalty with kills in shadow. She yawns, mauve tongue curling between her wide, gaping jaws. We're very concerned that her tongue is mauve. That's the second time they've mentioned it. Your antics don't amuse me in the slightest, Scarlet Fury, says Janos. Dance away if you must. You won't make it through the wind wall as I live and breathe. Verse says, for a second there I was worried that we would have to let you live, but you put that to rest. Stop playing with your food. I kind of want to just tell Verse, like, dude, if you think you can take this fucking guy, go do it. But that's not an option. It's either stop playing with your food or cut it out this instance. Do anything about his daughter Amelia? I do vaguely remember something about his daughter Amelia. Sorry, I didn't catch that, he says. I'm not too good with names, and your voice isn't carrying over the winds. He flashes you a wide, knowing grin. The Regents? The Regents were our royal family, says Janusz. They governed Old Stalwart, protected our borders, and rallied our armies when in need. Kairos' butchers left but one regent standing, and he's as useless as a mustache on a mallet. I'm trying to think why that would be your expression for useless. Mustache on a mallet. But okay. Perseverance opened the Sunset Spire. I'll crack... why do the Unbroken hate Stratus Harridan? I haven't even mentioned Stratus Harridan, so I don't know why I'm asking this. I know that I'm after him. You know what? He did mention him, so I guess I can say it. Okay, fine. He's a spineless old man who hides behind his soldiers and doesn't possess any of the values that he hammers into others, says Janusz. Oh, sorry, I was talking about Graven Ash. Oh, rats. Now I wish we had Barrick here. He'd surely have some choice words for this guy. He flashes you a crude sign with his fingers. I like this guy. Harridan is a relic of the past, and we're looking to the future. We don't have any hope of squirming out from under Kairos' thumb while the old regent enjoys his twilight years sipping dusty wine and hiding from the war. I'll crack Stalwart's little windwall, rather. He straightens his posture and appraises you in silence. I can say this much, he says. You buy into what you're preaching, and I have to respect that. Plenty of folks have tried to get into Sentinel Stand and failed, but none of them had a spire to call home. Okay, so that being said, all that bragging and boasting, how do I get in there? He turns his back on me. Throwing yourself into the wind wall comes to mind. Take a few steps inside and see how long it takes for the wind to strip you down to a skeleton. I'd love to stay and chat. This is this is a villain making his escape in a scene from a Batman show. I'd love to stay and chat, Batman, but it's high time that I reported on your presence to my superior officer. Be seeing you, Batman, though you might not see me. He ducks behind the parapet and vanishes into the obscurity of the storm. Damn that vain southern wretch, says Radovec. He spits. The Unbroken know the territory better than us, and take every opportunity to flaunt it. What was that scout even doing here? Look, there's a corpse on the wall. Might bear a closer look. I can't tell from here, but I think it's wearing disfavored colors. You guys go check it out. There's a hole in the wall. There's a hole in the fortress, dear Liza, dear Liza. There's a hole in the fortress, dear Liza, a hole. Amelia's battle standard. This appears to be a scrap of the battle standard carried by Amelia, the daughter of the Archon of War. It was found at Sentinel Stand, confirming that she was within the castle when the Edict of Storms descended on Stalwart. Uh-oh. Bad news for Senor Ash. The body has been here a long time, and the storm has long since eroded skin from bones. Tucked away in one of the gauntlets, you find the scrap of a distinctive battle standard. Radovec, from a long distance, who we surely can't hear over the raging storm, says, By Kairos! I'd recognize the great general's family crest anywhere. This can only mean that Amelia and her unit came through here during the war, sir. Tell me about Amelia. If you insist from this distance, sure. She was always headstrong, took after her father in that regard. She also demanded that the Legion treat her like an ordinary soldier whenever possible. You know, I think it would make more sense if we talked while we were closer together. But in truth, she was far from ordinary. She's not an Archon like Ash, but she's vicious with the sword. Good with her troops. I sparred with her outside the bastard city. Almost lost an ear for my troubles. Speaking of ears, having trouble hearing you right now. Makes you think she's alive. Okay. The disfavored are a hardy folk. Hammer to the skull, sword to the gut, and arrow to the spine. We don't go down easily. We can march for days without cracking a yawn. Can even shout over storms when it's necessary. But it's not really necessary right now, ma'am. Of little else I can guarantee, but I know this much. The daughter of Graven Ash can outlast any prison. Next steps. Jesus, okay. Ash wants us to subdue the Unbroken and restore order to the Blade Grave, but I'm not giving up hope on his daughter, ma'am. Not when we're this close. There's an unbroken fort called Duskwatch. It's not far. Commander Osmios is staging an attack to capture the fort and take back Callias. Callias? I don't know how to say his name, sir. One of the stone shields who's trapped with Amelia, who they took prisoner. He may be able to tell you something about what happened to their unit, or the Unbroken's plan. I'll go to Duskwatch and lend a hand. You go on ahead. I need to double back and relay this to Ash. This should raise the old man's spirits, eh? One of the things I remember about walking around in Chicago when I lived there was when the wind would pick up and get crazy, which it frequently did coming off the lake. It was always like that kind of situation where you like had to like scream over the wind to be heard. Like if you were like walking down the sidewalk with a friend, be like you're like on your way to the bar or whatever, or back home from class at college or whatever. It was always just like, hey, what are we gonna do when we get home? Like you had to talk like that sometimes. Like hold your hat down. It was always like in military movies, like Hunt for Red October or whatever. Whenever there's a Calais. Oh, it's Calais. Oh, I'm sorry. It's the French pronunciation. El Français. And his daughter's name is Alexandre, but you pronounce it Alexandre. It was always like in the Tom Clancy movies where there's always like some scene where like some higher ups in the CIA or whatever get off of a helicopter that lands on an aircraft carrier or whatever, and there's always like they're always like holding onto their hats as they get away from the rotors. And there's always like one guy on the aircraft carrier runs up like, "Sir, here's the situation, sir," like shouting into his ear. Meant to add a question mark. Oh, it was just a suggestion. Well, I like the France pronunciation. Heavy bronze ridge helm. Not really beneficial for anybody, but I'll take it. So here's a question. Why did I do that voice for poor Radovac when he was down here, when I didn't do the voice for Janosch when he was up here and we were down there? Not an equal opportunity goofy voice doer. Soldier by the name of Calais is being held by the Unbroken at Duskwatch Fort. He may know if Amelia is alive and if there is a way inside since it'll stand keep. Travel there to speak with the disfavored commander Osmios. So it looks like we're backing the fuck out of here, huh? We don't dare try to go through the windstorm. Tornado. I guess it's a freaking tornado. I don't know. I just thought it was just a storm, but okay. Named Calais. I think you're thinking of Caillou, who does fucking suck. One of the goofier things about John Oliver's show on HBO is that he has a running gag where he trash talks Caillou. But if you've ever had a preschooler who has watched Caillou, I can tell you for a fact Caillou fucking sucks. Oh, I can't go to the outskirts right now. Because I have to wait for the storm to be done. Caillou is a Canadian public television show. It sucks so bad. It's so boring. Like, I get that children's programming is, like, it's different, right? It's not going to be very interesting to an adult. But even so, there were kids' shows on, like, public television that I would watch with my kids and, like, get a kick out of. Like, we watched Word Girl when I was raising my son. That was a very cute show. Curious George was a cute show. Caillou just sucked. It was so goddamn boring. Ugh. Caillou's the most annoying little shit ever. Like, you just can't wait to see him get stomped. Ugh. awful. I'm angry at Caillou for making me feel so much hatred for Caillou. That's how much I hate Caillou. Crescent Runner. Is this the dude's name, or is this his position? Anyway, as you can see, Duskwatch is closed off to the likes of us, else I would be taking shelter from the storm. His favorite scout struggles to recall your features. Then his eyes open in dawning comprehension. Walter. I need Oh, shit. Do I need Barrick? You might be right. You might be right. Damn, okay. I'll have to go to Aspire then and get Barrick. He continues, the Fatebinder of Tunon. Caillou must go. I honestly don't know if he's still on the air. Like, I don't know if he's still being produced. And I don't want to make it sound like Canadian public television is lacking. I'm sure there's excellent programming, but Caillou sucks. Just so goddamn boring. Like, okay, this is a tangent. We're going on a tangent now about freaking children's public television programming. Let's compare it to Curious George, right? Curious George, this is an entity we all know. We've all read Curious George books as a kid. PBS has a Curious George show. Curious George's voice is done by Frank, shit, I'm not going to think of his last name, but he's the dude who does all the monkey voices. He does Apu and Aladdin. He was the voice of Megatron in the original Transformers. Frank Welker does the voice of George. Dr. John, late great Dr. John, did the theme song for Curious George, right? So there's talented people involved. I want to say the dude who does the voice actor for Jim Cummings. Jim Cummings is a voice actor on Curious George. There's talent on the show. There's always a moral to the story. George gets into trouble and he learns a lesson about how he should have behaved differently, or how, hey, it's good to be, inquisitive and ask questions and everything, but you got to kind of respect the boundaries of people that are around you. Like, George learns a lesson. I don't even really like Curious George that much. But as a parent, I could sit and tolerate it because I'm like, all right, I get it. My kid's learning something from the show. He likes the characters. The voice acting's good. The writing's good. Caillou is like, a Caillou episode is Caillou visits his grandma. They bake cookies. That's it. That's the whole episode. It's boring. There's no lesson. And Caillou's voice actor is like, Mommy, can we visit Grandma? It's just the most annoying little, you just want to strangle him, little shit. Pain in the ass. And let me just finish, because I know I sound very aggravated right now. Let me just finish by saying, I appreciate public television programming. It is exactly like Seinfeld. You're exactly right. I appreciate children's programming. I'm the kind of guy who, like, I hate sitting through children's television commercials. So the fact that there's public television programming with no commercials, right, is like, that's I love it. It's great. I would gladly take public television programming over some commercial-ridden shit any day. But even so, even under those conditions, Caillou is still intolerable to watch. Ugh. It's like Seinfeld. Caillou with George Costanza would be a really interesting show. If everybody in Caillou was normal and then George was there, just the Larry David clone, just being an asshole, would be very funny. That'd be an interesting show. I'd watch that. That'd be great. This is good. Caillou. No, it doesn't. I don't think of Caillou ever. I don't ever think of Caillou. It doesn't bother me that Caillou still exists, It doesn't bother me. But it's the kind of thing where when you gotta watch TV with your kids when they're that age, and you know that there's no, like, you can't talk them out of it, right? Anybody who has had a kid or spent significant time with a kid who's under like 5 years old will know what I'm talking about. You can't talk a kid out of their likes. So when it's like, I want to watch TV, like, okay, let's see what's on TV. Oh, Caillou, I want to watch Caillou. We're like, oh, fuck. All right. There's just, kids have no taste, and you can't talk them out of anything. So you're just stuck. You're like, fuck, all right, I guess we're watching Caillou. And then you're like, yeah, maybe I'll go, like, sweep the kitchen or something. No, watch Caillou. No, I don't want to watch Caillou. I'd rather clean a toilet than watch Caillou. This tangent is proof that I don't like it. It's true, I don't like it, but I'm not on any kind of crusade. It's just that it was brought up, and I'm very naturally having an aggressive physical reaction to the idea of Caillou. Here's how bad Caillou sucks. My son, who's now 13, who watched Caillou religiously when he was 4, when he reached age 6, he said, man, Caillou sucks. So it wore off very quickly. Like, it only takes the slightest amount of maturity to recognize that Caillou is terrible. Once the spell wears off, it's just gone forever. There's no nostalgia. Nobody has nostalgia about Caillou. Nobody is like in their teens being like, ah, man, I grew up on Caillou. I look back on that time as a good one. Nobody thinks that about Caillou. Caillou is going in the dustbin of history. All right, anyway, let's get back to it. We've been doing a good job of staying on task here. Let's stick to it. Jesus Christ. The Fatebinder of Tunon. Commander Osmios told me that I should look out for company, but I didn't expect anyone from this high up in the food chain. He beckons for you to follow. I should have read that in a different inflection, because it sounds like I'm saying that he beckons for you to follow. Due east of here, our unit gathers its strength to take Dusk Watch. Follow me. God, you fucking sucks, dude. If you think I'm trashing it, you should watch John Oliver on Last Week Tonight, because there are a few clips where he just fucking rips into Caillou. Like, unfairly. Poor Caillou. Because Caillou is drawn as a bald little kid. Like, he makes, like, cancer patient jokes. It gets ugly. And it's all deserved. Fucking Caillou. So stupid. God. But Curious George also kind of sucks. George is supposed to be he's supposed to be a preschooler, right? Like, he's supposed to represent the preschooler mentality of like, huh? What's this? So I get it. I get the purpose for George existing. But the man in the yellow hat he'd be so in debt just for owning George. There's so many episodes or just books. There's so many books where George totally fucks shit up because he's just a little monkey and he doesn't know what he's doing. And the man in the yellow hat is just like, George. But the reality is that there were literally tens of thousands of dollars of property damage committed by George. And the man in the yellow hat now is on the dock. He's got to pay that off, right? Oh, hey, Gator. Yeah, dude, it's your fault. Whenever Gator's here, we go on tangents. Damn it. I don't hate Curious George, but I do know if I was the man in the yellow hat, Curious George would have had a tranquilizer dart in the butt, and he'd be back in the jungle like after 3 days. He was here 5 minutes. You were here 5 minutes, and it started that quick. I didn't even know you were here, and it started. No. George and Caillou should not be mentioned in the same breath. Caillou is way worse. It's just that George is like, the man in the yellow hat has very questionable judgment skills. George is a sweet character, though. He's not an asshole. Caillou's an asshole. He's just a little self-absorbed prick. What a jerk. It's a 6-year-old schmuck. I'd like to strangle him. I'm pretty sure I'm going on a watch list of some kind right now. Some Canadian public television programmer is like, oh, he's gonna be sorry. He ever talked bad about our national treasure, Caillou. Jesus. Okay, what the fuck? What am I doing here? This is Duskwatch. We're trying to take Duskwatch for reasons. I don't even remember. Last week on Beautiful. Oh man. Don't ever encourage me to one up a previous tangent. I will make the best effort. I might not do it. But you'll wish you hadn't bet money against me if that's what you did. Tell me about Osmios, whoever the fuck this person is. He's been part of the Stalwart campaign since it began, so he knows this country like the inside of his helmet. Which is damn impressive when you consider how the edict should everything. Does anybody really know the inside of their helmet that well? Just thinking about it. Like what kind of, like, things where people who wear helmets. Firemen wear helmets. Baseball players wear helmets. Miners wear helmets. Construction workers wear helmets. Motorcycle riders wear helmets. They don't study the insides of their helmets. Like if somebody said, I know this place like the inside of my helmet, I'd be like, oh, so you haven't spent much time paying attention to this place at all, then have you? I suppose you're right, yeah. Deadbeat says Caillou's on the menu. You seem to be sorry for disrespecting our national treasure, Caillou. I think it's just exclamation add quote, all one word. If anyone wants to have at it, go for it, man. I will not. You can put that on my fucking tombstone. I'll go to the grave a proud American for trashing Caillou. Again, I'm not impressed with the inside of the helmet boast, but okay. I'd follow him anywhere, except maybe inside of his helmet, because I don't really know that he knows it that well, sir. Including in the eye of a storm, it seems. What's your mission here, soldier? We do what Kairos' Iron Legion does best. We claim the fort, and anyone who doesn't cooperate gets put to the sword. Our commander likes to keep the orders simple. Osmios mentioned something about a northern prisoner behind the walls of Duskwatch, but I couldn't tell you anything else. Is this Amelia, I think? I was assigned to scouting duty, not rescue duty. What's the story with Duskwatch, soldier? Throughout the war, the Unbroken kept this fort locked up against Kairos' forces. It might not be much to look at, but the folks behind those walls are a spirited bunch. Not even the storm has broken their nerve. Loving husband and father, fuck Caillou. Yep. Thanks, Tano. Appreciate it. Yeah, this stream has had both a lovable kitten parade and also a diatribe against the unholy abomination that is Canadian public television character Caillou. And this whole goddamn family, honestly. His whole family can just rot. I know what the commander would say, that a southerner is too ignorant to wipe the grit from his eyes, but the Unbroken have been using the storm against us, and well, you have to respect that. Can find my own way, you're dismissed? Let's have him lead us forward. I was kind of thinking we'd go as a group, but okay. What the hell? Nobody has goggles or anything? You need goggles for the sandstorm. Osmios, the disfavored commander, wears his armor over broad shoulders and stands as if he knows it all too well. Knows that he has broad shoulders? That's what he knows? Graven Ash protects, he says. Osmios, 32nd Legion. Pleasure to have you join us. Even this close to Iron Hearth, we need all the help we can get. Hey, so here's a question. Caillou's totally not our fault. That's right. You can complain about a lot in the United States, but you can't shit talk our public television programming. Osmios mentions he's in the 32nd Legion. That seems like a lot of legions, right? I'm trying to think, like, what's the most legions Rome ever had at its height? I want to say that there's a mention of, like, a 16th Legion. I've heard of the 16th Legion, perhaps? I don't know that I've ever heard of a higher number of legion than that. I don't know, but I'm guessing they never had as many as 30-plus legions. So Kairos' army sounds freaking huge. He continues, as you might be able to tell, he's got a pretty awesome haircut too. This fort is as a tough nut to crack. The Unbroken aren't too keen on surrendering, and our preliminary attacks have yet to break through. One of our soldiers is chained inside, Calais, and we'll go to any length to get him out. He glances at the fort with longing. All right, Osmios and Calais are lovers. You heard it here first. What's your business at Duskwatch? He asks. I expect you've come to aid in the war effort, but when it comes to Tunan's agents, it pays not to make assumptions. Guild apprentice, not met. Soldier, not met. Noble scion, not met. End to the Unbroken. Arbiter of Kairos' will. This seems the most diplomatic. I think this is the truth here. I want to end the Edict of Storms. I want to also return his daughter, Ash's daughter. But I think this is the most like, I'm on your side, buddy. Diplomat. Me. I intend to claim Sentinel Stand for the disfavored. At its largest, there might have been around 500,000 soldiers in the Roman army. To keep such a large number of men in order, it was divided up into groups called legions. Each legion had between 4,000 and 6,000 soldiers, to my knowledge, not Google search. Shit! Okay, so then that was a lot of legions then. 40 plus, says Tandem. Most legions at one time was 64 to 67. Wow. Alright, well, that proves me wrong. I was thinking more, I guess I was thinking legions were more like, in terms of size, I was thinking they were more like modern day divisions. Don't divisions usually run between like 40,000 and 100,000 soldiers? Obviously not. I mean, obviously that's not how legions were calculated. Oh, good old Constantine. Okay, so this is gonna be another tangent. I know it. This is gonna be like when I asked the question about like a good to an evil conversion. What was it, like 2 weeks ago? But if you had to pick one person who had, like, I know that it's, I don't believe in the great man theory of history or anything like that. I don't think that there's ever any, like, I don't think history follows Gator. God damn it. I don't think that history hinges on one individual's motives or ambitions or whatever. But if you had to pick one person who's had the largest effect on human history in, say, the last 2,000 years, who would you pick? I'll tell you what my vote would be. I'd have to pick between one of two people, I think. But I'll tell you what my vote would be after you guys weigh in. Kills in Shadow apparently doesn't like this Osmios guy. She has curved claws scratching at her ribs, scrawling angry red lines into her skin. Jesus Christ, that's hardcore, girl. Osmios continues. That old fortress is likely ruins by now. But it's a symbol of this region's strength, and symbols mean something in the north and south alike. The army that controls Sentinel Stand controls the Blade Grave. Duskwatch is a critical foothold. We can fan out troops from here and destabilize any unbroken activity, including their plans to breach Sentinel Stand. The fort will fall into our hands, but my hope is to mitigate disfavored losses as much as possible. I need someone of skill to rout these southern pigs. Day and night my forces have battered themselves against those walls, but even the tireless disfavored have their limits. Excuse me. I'm afraid we're out of commission until Ash's Aegis takes the edge off and knits our wounds closed. Look lively enough. What say you help us get Calais out and soften up the Unbroken for execution? Shielding the soldiers from injury, blah, 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 blah. Genghis Khan. Ooh, that's a good... Yeah, okay, that's good. I wasn't going to say Genghis Khan, but that's good. Good suggestion, Tandem. We'll see what else we get, but that might be actually the best answer, honestly. the idea of writing the New Testament. You're getting closer to what I'm thinking, deadbeat. I think the most diplomatic answer is count me in, the Unbroken will shatter against our offensive. I don't know that I necessarily want to destroy the Unbroken, but that Janosch guy, he rubbed me the wrong way, so fuck him. Before you get too excited... Oh, sorry, was I excited? Your job is to infiltrate the base under the cover of night and extract the prisoner. Don't let anyone spot you. If you alert them while inside, you'll be on your own. Oh. Fuck. Stealth mission? Jesus Christ. Do you know who you're talking to? Stealth missions. Calais is a good soldier, and he's been in Unbroken hands longer than anyone should have to endure. You might think him just another stone shield, but Ash holds the lives of his troops in high regard, so we should consider the recovery effort as important as taking Duskwatch itself. And whatever you do, don't harm a handsome hair on his head. Sun Tzu. Well, I'm not going to disagree with you, Gator, but I did say the last 2,000 years. Max Chaos. Oh, wait a minute. You only get one answer, Tandem. Max Chaos. Yeah. If you had to limit it to the last 2,000 years, Gator, so since AD 1, what would your vote be? Osmios continues, there are a few structural weaknesses along the perimeter which should help you sneak in. After releasing Calais, open the front gate from the inside. He flashes you a toothy grin. We'll flood the keep and make short work of Agathon's soldiers. Are you ready to begin? I'm ready. I found evidence that Ash's daughter passed by Sentinel Stand. Could Calais know more about her disappearance? I think we can just assume that that's what we'll ask him when we find him. This seems like relevant intelligence. How has Duskwatch stood this long in defiance of your troops? He glances to his left and right with a frown. I hate to question the great general or his command, but we're overworked and undermanned. There won't be any additional supplies coming our way until the fort is in our hands, and the Unbroken set up their defenses with a long siege in mind. During the conquest, we pushed through the stalwart defenses like they were old hedgerows, but these Unbroken are a breed apart from their countrymen. In losing the war, all of a sudden they have something to rally behind. I don't want to say that we underestimated them, but he shrugs and trails off. What do you know of the Unbroken? The guy who ate the bat that started the corona thing. Poor hero will probably go down without ever history learning his name. I don't mean hero literally, because I know a lot of people are suffering from this, but I remember when coronavirus first hit American shores, and it was becoming clear that it was going to become a thing that we were going to have to deal with. My brother-in-law on Facebook or some other social media thing was like, this is Mother Nature correcting, this is a correction on Mother Nature's part. Which I didn't really care for. I mean, I understand the sentiment behind it, but I didn't care for it because the truth is that the people who are least responsible for harming nature are going to be the ones who are going to suffer the most from COVID, right? It's going to be the poor and the minorities and the disenfranchised. It's not going to be the rich fucking asshole capitalist fuckers. They're not going to suffer from this shit. I mean, maybe they will, but they won't suffer as much as the poor. Just shitty. Shitty that when nature decides to swat us, it's still the least responsible that suffer. St. George. St. George of England? Penicillin, hang on a second. I was going to say Jonas Salk, but he's the guy who's responsible for the polio vaccine, I think. Penicillin was... I can't think of who did penicillin. Someone will Google it and tell me. Going to have the largest empire in history. Ah, okay, I see it. I see what you're saying. England as a force for kind of a standardizing of world language, cultural expectations, business. Yeah, English capitalism, English language being exported, English culture being exported to most of the world. I could see that. I'll say what I was. My vote would go to one of either Constantine. I like those answers. I like all your guys' answers, actually. Genghis Khan and... Genghis Khan, I think, would probably get my vote. But I was going to say either Constantine or Muhammad, I think, would be my vote for having the greatest effect on history in the last 2,000 years. Constantine for making Christianity the state religion in Rome, which basically made it the most powerful religion on Earth ever since. And Muhammad for basically starting Islam, which is now the second most powerful religion on Earth. He did it single-handedly. Like, Constantine took a religion that had already existed for 300 years and just said, yeah, this is it. This is the thing. I say this is the thing, so now everybody has to say this is the thing. Whereas Muhammad just started that shit from scratch. He was like, yeah, No, you're not. I'm not saying you guys are wrong. I would say I'm hard-pressed to... I think, for example, I think I might agree with Tannen that perhaps Genghis Khan has had a larger impact on history since his existence. But I don't know why I find myself leaning towards religion as having a greater influence on world history than any conquests, just because religion endures, whereas empires come and go. And so the people who put religions in a position to dominate, I think, are the people who perhaps have the biggest impact on history. Hence, Constantine, or we could all be really, yeah, something like, what is it, like something like 10% of the Earth right now is related to Genghis Khan. It's a direct descendant of Genghis Khan, supposedly. Anyway, yeah, Constantine and Muhammad being the not progenitors. In Muhammad's case, a progenitor, I suppose, but in both of their cases, the proponents of two of the biggest world religions in history. I think gets them a lot of credit. Credit? I don't know if you want to call it credit. Credit's not the right word, but inflates their position, I suppose. Alexander Fleming. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, if we were going to talk like scientific contributions, I'd say Jonas Salk would be up there. Yeah, okay, Euclid would be up there. Aristotle would probably be up there. I think that Charles Darwin or Alfred Russel Wallace would be up there. Freaking Archimedes would probably be up there somewhere. I'm sure there was some East Asian, some Chinese scientist who I probably don't... Yeah, Newton. I'm sure there's somebody in China or Japan that I don't know about because we don't know anything about East Asian history because we're all Western chauvinists. Prontosil, the first sulfa drug, is discovered in 1935 by German chemist Gerhard Domach, who doubled as a Klingon, apparently, in his off hours, based on his last name. Who was the guy that discovered how to put nitrates back in the soil? I forget that dude's name. But that guy might have actually had the single largest contribution to saving human lives of any person in human history. Because before that, soil would get exhausted within, a few seasons of planting, and you basically had to, move on. The whole, leaving fields fallow kind of thing was like, ah, shit, you drain all the nitrates out of the soil, and the soil's worthless. And then there was a dude who's like, actually, I know how to put nitrates back in the soil. I don't remember who that guy was, but it's, revolutionized farming, and the world's farming production has gotten incredibly, exponentially more productive as a result. Can't think of his name. But it basically, like, the world's carrying capacity would be less than, like, 2 billion people if it wasn't for the ability to re-input nitrates into the soil. Sergei Winogradsky? Is he a Soviet? I'd be... That's a very East Asian or Eastern European sounding name. I would only be surprised if he was a Soviet just because the Soviets had some real crackpots. Real crackpots in agriculture. What was the one dude? Oh shit, I can't think of his name. Who, like, he was basically, like, not single-handedly, because there were a lot of people behind him who were boosting him, but it was his crackpot ideas that basically caused the Soviet famine that killed like 40 million people or something like that. Because he basically tried to reinvent how Russian farmers farmed their land, and as a result, millions of people starved because the food was just not being produced. Started with an Legatsov? No, that's the dude from. That's the Jared Harris guy. Hang on, sorry, I'm gonna tab out because I gotta look this up. This is truly a full tangent now. Thanks, Gator. Lysenko! Trofim Lysenko, yeah. That dude killed a lot of people. I mean, it was Stalin. It was Stalin's fault. But Lysenko was the one responsible for the theories. Stalin was the one who's like, hey, this guy's pretty smart. Let's do what he says. I'm going to get drunk. You guys take care of it. That was Stalin's contribution. I'm off tomorrow, man. Yeah, we can just do this all night. Some real crackpots. Yeah. I know it's not. You know what? Life, the universe is just not fair to the Russian people. I've been reading a book called The Great Game, which is about the battle for supremacy in Central Asia between Britain and Imperial Russia in the late 1700s and throughout the 19th century, where Britain controlled India and Russia was gradually expanding its empire into Siberia and over to the Pacific and then south into Kazakhstan and Turkmenistan and all these other places, right? And so the British at the time were very, very afraid that the Russians had as their goal in mind to expand all the way down to India and take India, because India was a really wealthy country at the time. And of course, this is during colonialism, where every European power wanted to taste. And Britain was like, hey, if they take India from us, we lose all that power, so we don't want them to take it from us. And the Russians actually did. They were like, we're going to take India. Like, fuck it, we want India. Both because of the wealth, because of the warm weather port, right? Which, unless they're in the Crimea, they don't really have. And even when they're in the Crimea, or Ukraine, they require the compliance of Turkey to be able to get through the Bosphorus and all this crazy shit. So they're like, we want our own warm weather port. We don't have to fucking deal with anybody. We don't have to compromise to get into the water. It's ours, and nobody can take it from us. So they did. The Tsar was like, yeah, we're taking India. So gradually and gradually, they kept marching closer and closer together through, Afghanistan and Turkmenistan and Uzbekistan and Georgia and all these different places, Persia, creating buffer states and constantly trying to play the different khans and emirs off of each other. It's a really interesting book. It's a totally fucked up book because it's just how colonial powers worked. Like, people dying for no cause that affects their lives individually. It's awful. But it's crazy what they did. Anyway, the Russians lost hard. The capstone of it coming, of course, with the late 70s invasion of Afghanistan, where they just got their asses handed to them by the Afghans, as literally everybody who's invaded Afghanistan has had done to them. The Afghans hand everybody their asses. But yeah, it's like, man, even when the Soviet nation, when the Russian nation is winning as a nation, the people are still just losing. Serfs, Soviet proles, you're always just poor alcoholic, dead very young, probably dying in a war or dying from starvation. It's just, life's hard in Russia, man. All right. Anyway, we're asking about the fort or the something. I don't remember. Gang of Tearsmen with defense delusions of honor, sir. I'm sure they wish their ranks were as renowned and elite as the disfavored. Unfortunately for them, the best they'll ever do is die by our hand or surrender and face hard labor. They rally around someone named Matthias, a low-born stalwart captain of some moderate success. He smiles bemusedly. Strangely enough, there's no love lost between the Unbroken. The Unbroken, that's dudes we're fighting against. Oh, shit, we've passed the 2-hour mark. I need to wrap it up here. And the old establishment, a hereditary bloodline known as the Regents. With that much division in their ranks, I don't know how they hope to succeed. I still need a moment to prepare. Do I? I do, because we're about to end the stream here. Yeah, that's why I need a moment to prepare. Well, don't take too long, says Osmios. The Unbroken already have enough advantages in the region without doling out the luxury of time. Graven Ash walks over. We were talking so long that he managed to get here. Let's just check this area out here. In Poland, 100 years of independence, you help the Allies win the World War, and they give you to Russia. Yeah. Yeah, I have a soft spot in my heart for the Poles. Having lived in Chicago for a number of years, learning the contributions of Casimir Pulaski to the American Revolution. Dude was a hero. And gets almost no recognition whatsoever. Even less than the Marquis de Lafayette, who gets very little recognition as it is. Yeah, the Poles have had a rough life, man. But at one time there was a Polish Empire. It was short-lived, but it did exist. Can't take that away from the Poles. Pierogies? I think that's what you're thinking of, Walter. The pierogies? Yeah, those are good. Just scouting out the perimeter here, sir. Hope this doesn't start a fight. Anyway, if anybody, either now or afterwards, has any other suggestions for individuals who have made the largest contribution or perhaps impact on world history in the last 2,000 years, I'd be interested to hear it. I don't mean to say that my responses were definitive. I don't think that they are. I think Genghis Khan is a very good answer. I think if you could make a case for anybody else. Pierogies are delicious, I'm not gonna lie. Alright, well, we got the perimeters scoped out. Next time, we'll take the damn thing, and we'll see if Amelia's alive inside. If we can catch this Hayden, whatever his name is. Hayden Christensen. What's his name? Oh, Calais. Calais, and I think the Hayden guy, it's not his name, is actually back in, Sentinel Stand, where the storm is. We have to get rid of the storm first, and that's why we're at Duskwatch Fort. Is there going to be a spire? The spires are already marked on the map, aren't there? Aren't they? There's a spire here. There's a spire there. And there's a spire there. Okay, so there's 3 left. Guessing this will be the one that we unlock related to the Blade Grave. And these 2 are what? Both related to... Is this the Stone Sea? The only reason I ask is because how long will it be until I get back to having Barrack in the party, because I'm wondering if you're correct that I need him to be able to get to Sentinel Stand outskirts. Jesus or Muhammad? Yeah, yeah. Muhammad, honestly, I don't think Jesus is that impactful. If I was going to pick one dude for the impact that Christianity has had on the world, my second choice would be Constantine. Actually, no, probably my first choice would be Constantine, just because of his power. But in terms of the philosophy, the theology behind Christianity, I think Paul had more to do with Christianity as it currently stands than Jesus did. Jesus was like the prophet. Paul's the dude who wrote the book. He's the guy who made the church. I mean, maybe it's because I'm Catholic, but most, yeah, I mean, I feel like yeah, it's up in the air for sure, Debbie. But I feel like there was a real dude, only because there are things in the New Testament that they changed, like that didn't make sense, right? So like Jesus is born in Nazareth, right? But to prove that he's a son of David, they have to go back to Bethlehem during the census, right? Because you're supposed to go back to the land of your father, which was never a requirement in Roman censuses. They just counted you wherever you lived. But in the story, it's an excuse to demonstrate that Jesus was a son of David, or was a descendant of David, which in the Old Testament prophecies was, hey, the Messiah will be a descendant of David. Okay, well, we got this historical dude named Jesus, who was a pretty interesting dude. He had a lot of interesting stuff to say, but he came from Nazareth, which means he wasn't descended from David. How do we make it seem like he was descended? Oh, okay, well, let's say that he had to go back to Bethlehem, or his parents had to go back to Bethlehem to be counted during the census that was never a requirement in census. There's like little things that, like, if you were just making the character up out of whole cloth, right? If he was just purely a fictional character, you would just say, hey, there was this dude named Jesus. He was born in Bethlehem. He grew up in Bethlehem. He was a descendant of David. But instead, it was like, hey, there was this dude named Jesus. He was from Nazareth. But he was originally from Bethlehem. His dad was from Bethlehem. Like, if you were just making the character up completely out of nothing, you would just make him up exactly as you needed him to be to fit the prophecy. Instead, they had to kind of bend. So it kind of makes me think that there was a real dude, and then they kind of like had to tweak elements of the story to make it fit, right? Yes, I agree, Walter. I think there was definitely a historical person. Forced the huge surge in conversion to Christianity. Amongst whom? Amongst the English? Because Constantine converted way more of the world at the time than any English king ever did. I think you're right, Deadbeat, in the sense that I think there's a mythology built up around Jesus that kind of like in a Robin Hood sense, where there might have been a historical dude who was traipsing around Nottingham Forest and pissing off the sheriff or whatever, but it's probably an amalgamation of amalgamation of a bunch of different stories. Anyway, let's not get into that too much. That could be a whole thing. Yeah, I've heard that as well, Walter. I don't find it convincing. The Shakespeare thing always sounds to me like people who want to sound smarter than everybody else, you know? Like, there's a simple explanation for Shakespeare, and it's that there was a guy named Shakespeare who wrote the plays and the sonnets. There's a more complicated explanation, but why would you go with a more complicated one unless you needed to? I feel like we don't need to, right? We have the simple explanation that works, so why complicate it? Unless there's some crazy evidence that's like, he couldn't possibly have been one dude, but I've never seen anything that would indicate to me that it couldn't have been one dude. Anyway, where were whose parents from? Jesus' parents? His father, Joseph, is supposedly a descendant of David from Bethlehem. His mother, Mary, is... I don't even know where Mary's descended from. I know her parents were... what were her parents' names? Elizabeth was her mother's name, I think. I can't remember. I knew all this stuff in Sunday school, man. I grew up on this shit, but now I can't remember the details. But anyway, yeah, I think Paul had more to do with what Christianity is today than Jesus. Yeah, Mithras is definitely an influence on the mythology of Jesus, as well as Horus from Egypt. And there's a lot of pagan elements in Jesus' story, both from when the Jesus story was being written and as it developed later for for European audiences. A lot of European pagan elements that got grafted onto the story over time. One of the more interesting things to me about Christian theology is the whole heaven and hell thing, and Lucifer and Satan and all that, and how to Christians over at least the last 1,200 years or so, hell is a place where the sinful are sent in the afterlife to be punished by Satan, who is the same person as Lucifer. Like, Lucifer is the fallen angel, and once he becomes the fallen angel, he's known as Satan. But the reality is that for hundreds of years there was no hell. There was no place of punishment. The Jewish religion doesn't have a place of punishment that I know of. And to make it more interesting, apparently my understanding is that in Old Hebrew, Lucifer and Satan were two separate angels. Lucifer was the light bearer, right? The person who carried God's light. Satan was the adversary, so he was basically like God's attorney. And Satan is, so the book of Job in the Old Testament is actually supposedly one of the first written books, maybe even the oldest book of the Bible. And in it, Satan is not the devil, is not Lucifer the devil. It's actually an angel who's talking with God, saying God, Job doesn't love you. He says he loves you, but he only loves you as long as you give him good shit. And God's like, test him. See if it works. Because God's talking to one of his lieutenants, talking to one of his angels, and Satan's like, I'm going to show you that he doesn't love you. He's basically like his prosecuting attorney. He's like, I'll pinch Job. I'll put the pressure on him. And that'll demonstrate that his love isn't real. That's why, so Satan literally means the adversary, not devil or enemy or foul one or evil one or anything like that. It just means the adversary, because it was an angel that God sent to test you. So Lucifer falling from heaven, becoming the devil, was not the same person as Satan. Satan was a completely different person. But in Christian theology, their personalities got melded, because Satan, the adversary, clearly must have been an evil force, because look at how he treated God's believers. He was constantly testing them, constantly putting them into misery and all these other things, when really it was just he was just God's enforcer, basically. William the Conqueror. Speaking as a guy whose name is also William, and when I was growing up, I was like, wow, William the Conqueror, that sounds like a cool dude. Just because he had my name. I mean, if you're talking about one individual island in Europe, can't compare to Genghis freaking Khan, for example. In terms of changing world history, yeah, perhaps in a kind of, drop in the pond and then it ripples away kind of effect. William the Bastard, yeah, that's true. I'm sure also that there are women who had equally profound impacts on history, and we probably just don't know their names because that's not how history was written back then. But I guarantee you that they're there. Right? Like the possibility of there actually being a historical Eve in terms of who humans are descended from. Yeah, various queens or rulers throughout the years. Yeah. Boudica, yeah, had a big role for sure. That's news to me, Deadbeat. I've not heard of that before. Yeah, anyway, yeah, we're done streaming the game, you guys. I should probably just turn off the recording here.